o'clock. We're about to fill your ear holes with the sounds of Steve and Igo.
Oh, gross!
Get ready for the most in-depth discussion on everything ECU. Players, coaches, the program, and more. This is Hoist the Colors with Steve and Igo.
Play ball!
You ready? This is 94.3 The Game. This is where the Pirates play.
All right, welcome into Hoist the Colors on a Friday. It is May 9th. We are live on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Also live on, or you can also check our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcast, as that is always archived. We've talked with Ryan Robinson, Hank Hinton this week, and those interviews are now available on those applications. And you can also find them archived on YouTube and Facebook as well. Got a lot to get to over the course of the next hour. Philip Pilkington, he's back home with his sister, graduation. So we got William hanging out behind the glass, producing, working on some technical things behind the scenes. We got Bobby Harward in studio. Bobby, how's it going, man?
It's going well. It's a little weird. First show ever for me without Philip, so I don't know how I feel about that. But it's time for William and Chris behind the glass to be great, and it's their time to shine. I do, before I forget, later in the show, I want to give a couple shout-outs. One, Mother's Day weekend, so happy early Mother's Day to my wife, Brittany, my mom, Mary,
Absolutely.
My mother-in-law, Kathy. Happy Mother's Day to all of you. Also, big congrats to all the graduates out there, graduation day and weekend. Awesome accomplishment, but special shout out to y'all as well as the student athletes. I know when we were always recruiting kids, this was, I guess, before the NIL era when they got paid, but we would say, use football, don't let football use you, essentially meaning use the free education and come away with your degree, because it's very fortunate not to have student loans when you do it that way. And so kudos to all those student athletes. I really thought it was cool. You put out on Hoist the Colors a list of all the student athletes who graduated, so I thought
87.
that was awesome. That's great.
I mean, that is a lot. So congrats to everybody graduating. Congrats to our interns as well who are graduating, walking across the stage. I was texting Brady Thomas earlier, who's been a part of the show, and always awesome to see those guys reach a big milestone in life. And obviously Mother's Day weekend as well. Shout out to all the moms. Yeah, Mother's Day weekend combined with graduation, Bobby. It's a lot of traffic going on in Greenville.
A lot of traffic. And then on the way into Arlington, an 18-wheeler just decided to make a left turn out of kind of where the Great Wolf Tattoo and that Simply Natural Creamery, kind of that area right there, turn left onto Arlington, but there was a red light, so they were stopped. So they were literally blocking 3.5 lanes of traffic.
Jeez.
And that backed it up even further. So,
all right, we're live on YouTube, Facebook, and X. We got our earpieces.
Yeah, I think
figured
we're
out.
rolling,
Okay,
yep.
cool. I'll throw that in. Give me 1 second.
as Igo shows off his flexibility here.
I'm not that flexible. In fact, I pulled a muscle lifting something this morning. All right, William behind the glass. For those who are unaware, William, we'll introduce you of who you are. So first off, you're a big St. Louis Cardinals fan. Congrats on that outside the last few years. But I know you've been with 94.3 The Game a while. You have not been with this show too much. You did help co-produce earlier this week. But tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you become a Cardinals fan, and what got you into sports in 94.3 The Game?
So I've always been really big into sports growing up, but becoming a Cardinals fan was because my dad would spend summers with his aunt and uncle in St. Louis. So I just kind of followed in his trail, becoming a Cardinals fan. And about the last two recent years, that have been a lot of success. But the Cardinals are trying to bounce back. They're trying to make a name for themselves again in the league. And when I came to 94.3, I just really wanted to be around sports. I've always enjoyed sports growing up. And I'm not a communications major. I'm actually construction management. So it's kind of outside my comfort zone, but I really enjoy it. It's a fun thing to do. It's hobbies, and it gives me new experiences that I can tell people about later on in life.
Well, we appreciate your time here, and we'll circle back because we have a lot to discuss with Major League Baseball, specifically Alec Burleson. I want to get your take as a former Pirate who we were talking about pre-show. I still feel like doesn't get a fair shake, but we'll talk about that later in the program. We're talking MLB. All right, so there's William. We got intern Chris hanging out as well. He knows college baseball extremely well, so at some point here in the next week or so, we're going to get Chris on to break down what's happening from a regional and national perspective. All right, Bobby, ECU from a local perspective is hosting the UTSA Roadrunners inside Clark LeClaire Stadium. And look, ECU's, they've already been eliminated from conference championship contention, which, by the way, golf clap for the 5 straight regular season titles. I mean, it's everything good must end.
That's right. Everything good comes to an end.
And this is the year. And look, UTSA, man, they are 18-3 in the league, 37-10. I wrote this morning they are in a spot ECU is typically in as they come to Clark LeClaire. And I kind of termed it as, I don't know if ECU is going to win this series. I don't know what to expect, really. I haven't watched UTSA a ton. I do recognize some of these names, which I'll get into as far as some of their best players. But I just want to see some fight from East Carolina this weekend. You've got the top team in a league you historically dominate coming into your building. It's the last home series of the year. You have not had a good season. If the Pirates roll over this weekend and just get swept and don't look like they're in it, I'm going to be pretty surprised and disappointed. So I don't know. What are you realistically expecting as a really good UTSA team comes to town?
This is a good question because it's actually something I've been thinking about the last few days because I knew this question was probably going to be asked by you. And last week you asked if I was excited about the Wichita series, which I said no because, quite honestly, I kind of expected us to drop that series and lose 2 of 3 and was really hoping we wouldn't get swept. But this weekend series I'm actually really excited about. Not only do you have an opponent come in who is going to win the conference outright or already has regular season, but you have a little bit of the rivalry of what happened last season. Again, they've replaced us as the conference champ, and to me, with the conference being so log jammed here in the middle, you really have a chance to help yourself out in the conference tournament from a seeding perspective. And this weekend is going to show me. If, to your point, if they don't have fight, then it's just not going to happen this year, and it's going to be a quick conference tournament in Clearwater. But if they can come out and fight and show some grit and compete, then I feel a lot better. I don't feel great about the conference tournament, but I feel a lot better than I would. So I think, to me, this series is kind of the last hoorah for the season because Cliff has already mentioned he wants to save some of that pitching in South Florida for the conference championship week because he knows that's their only chance of making the tournament. So last chance to put on in front of the home fans this year, last chance for those seniors, and really, to me, the last good shot of putting up a good fight here in the regular season.
It'll be at 6 o'clock, scheduled for 6 tonight, 4 o'clock on Saturday, which, by the way, will be the senior day ceremonies. And, a lot of good seniors on this team, but specifically Jake Hunter and Riley Johnson. Those guys deserve your support, so get out there. Everything they've been through, support those 2 gentlemen along with the rest of the squad. And this Sunday, scheduled, I believe, for 1. To give you guys an idea of why UTSA is so good, they hit the crap out of the baseball. They have a team batting average of .328. They get on base at an extremely high rate, .438 on base percentage. They take their walks. They get hit by a lot of pitches. They crowd the plate. They are really savvy at the plate. They're old. They're experienced. Now, I say all that, and one of their best hitters, Jordan Ballin, great name, is a freshman shortstop who is hitting .370 with a .561 on base percentage. He has walked 33 times, been hit by 14 pitches, and has only struck out 16 times. Mason Little is hitting .370 with 7 home runs. Andrew Stuckey's hitting .359 with 6 home runs. They've got a guy with 13 homers and a .333 batting average. I mean, they have like 8 regulars at well over 300. On the mound, they're solid. I will say this. They're kind of like ECU in that they don't have a ton of arms. They are very top-heavy. They do have 3 legitimate starters that are, I would say, more innings eaters than, like, dominant guys, but they get so much run support it works. Like Zach Royce, who is their Friday night starter tonight, 4.81 ERA, 7-4 record, 67 innings pitched, 63 strikeouts, 25 walks. Opponents are hitting .270 against him. So, like, he's just a guy who, for the most part, is going to throw strikes. He'll give up hits, but he'll limit big innings. So, you should be able to score on UTSA. The problem is keeping them down. The other thing is they've got a really good reliever. Think of it like their version of Ethan Young, Robert Orlowski, who was their top reliever last year. He's thrown 18 appearances, no starts, but 53 in the third innings, 5 saves, which ranks third on the team in innings pitched, first in saves. So really good strikeout numbers. He'll be, if there's any situation early, he'll be the guy coming out of the pen and he can go distance. And they've got 2 or 3 other relievers. So when you hear all that, Bobby, what are your reactions to it?
Yeah, I did some digging this morning because my initial thought just off the hoof before any research was like, all right, how good can UTSA actually be? And as I started going through their schedule this season, I was like, man, they're not – they seem very beatable. I know they had beat Texas A&M in Texas, but they were midweek games, and midweek baseball, anything can happen. And then as I started getting into conference play, I was like, oh, wow, this team's actually pretty good. And then I read your article that you posted this morning on Hoist the Colors and prep for the weekend series. And this matchup does not set up well for the Pirates, I'm afraid, because one of our biggest struggles pitching-wise has been throwing strikes, getting batters out. Their strength, taking pitches, making the pitchers throw to them, and their approach at the plate is very disciplined, and that does not set up well for us. Now, we have the chance to take advantage and hopefully can get our bats hot because their pitching is not great, and they do have that ace reliever, but reality, depending how many pitches he throws in the first game he comes out, he may be maxed out at 2 games, potentially even 1 if they have to utilize him early and longer than expected. So not as optimistic as I had originally hoped, but again, I want to see that grit that this team, that Cliff Godwin's program has been known for. And that's really, even if we come out and maybe lose a 9-7 game 1, take game 2, and then lose game 3, I'd be a little bit more satisfied. I'd still love to find a way for us to get 2 or 3. I just don't see a sweep.
The weird thing with UTSA is their non-conference schedule was pretty mediocre. You mentioned the midweek wins, which are big, but they lost a series to Dallas Baptist 2 via the run rule, which, DBU is really good. But they gave up 14, 11, and 14 runs in those 3 games at DBU. They also lost a series to UT Arlington. Now, this was much earlier in the season. They have clearly peaked, but they're not unbeatable. The biggest thing is their offense. You just can't give up these crooked numbers early in games, which they tend to do. So, I'm intrigued. I think you got to have – it's been 3-4 weeks now. ECU has not had a starter go more than 2 innings the last 3 series to begin the series, so their opener. So, you got to have Ethan Norby pitch good tonight.
That's exactly my thought as you were talking, scrolling up and down through the schedule. It's Ethan Norby's due for one, and I think you can almost set it up like Cliff Godwin maybe has a personal one-on-one meeting with Ethan Norby and says, hey, dude, I need your all tonight. I'll rest you next weekend ahead of the conference tournament, but give me everything you have. Let's try to get 7 innings out of you, save your bullpen, come away with the win, and then hopefully we can let's worry about Saturday on Saturday. Let's just take care of tonight, and let's have an electric outing on a Friday night.
All right, we'll get a break in. Do want to shout out Sup Dogs. Check them out, 213 East 5th Street, Greenville, North Carolina. You guys know the deal. Sup Dogs, multiple-time Barstool Best Bar winner. They're supporting today's program, support ECU Athletics, and they're making Bobby Harvard's appearance possible on this Friday. So appreciate Sup Dogs. Check them out with graduation weekend. They will be busy, and Crush Vodka, Sup Dogs, anything you need in that area, they got you covered. All right, we'll get a break in. We'll come back. We're going to talk MLB, Pirates in Major League Baseball. Also look around at what's going on in the sport as May gets going. We'll touch on NHL, NBA playoffs later as well. This is Hoist the Colors on a Friday.
The team of Flatlands Jessup is working overtime to help ensure that Eastern North Carolinians like you get the health insurance help you need this open enrollment period. New legislation passed meaning more people than ever qualify for affordable coverage. Let us help you today.
Are you ready to tackle those yard and garden projects? Come by East Carolina Tractor and Fleet, your local Coyote dealer, and check out their great selection of residential and commercial Coyote tractors. From zero-turn mowers to compact tractors to skid steer loaders, they've got you covered. Some with 0% financing for qualified buyers. Stop by your hometown Coyote dealer, East Carolina Tractor and Fleet, across from the Pitt County Fairgrounds, or online at ectfleet.com. East Carolina Tractor and Fleet. We dig dirt.
Big tax credits are back. Get a 30% tax credit, up to $2,000 off your new Mitsubishi electric heat pump install. Let Comfort Master help you take advantage of the tax credits with a qualifying Mitsubishi electric ducted heat pump or non-ducted Mitsubishi electric mini splits. Mitsubishi electric mini splits are ideal for bonus rooms, garages, or sunrooms. If you need a new HVAC unit, call Comfort Master today.
Call Comfort Master. Call Comfort Master.
At Parker's Barbecue, our family has been serving your family for 3 generations.
For that, we say thank you.
Blessing families every Thursday. Kids eat free all day. That's the Parker's way.
Legendary food served from our 3 locations. Always quick, always delicious. That's the Parker's way.
At Parker's, our mission is to impact our customers through Christ-like service in a way that feeds them both physically and spiritually. That is the Parker's way.
You know what the problem is with standard belts? Usually you have to choose between too tight or the opposite, too loose. But with Anson Belt and Buckle, you don't have to choose. We got rid of the holes and instead have a track system designed for micro-adjustability. That way you can enjoy a perfect fit every time. Anson Belt and Buckle. Find your perfect fit today.
Healthwise Pharmacy rounds the bases with all of your infusion, retail, compounding, and medical equipment needs. Locally owned and operated by pharmacist Marcy Parker, Healthwise has grown to be your most trusted provider for infusion services. Currently providing in-home or on-site infusions in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia. Visit Healthwise Pharmacy at 615B South Memorial Drive or call 252-295-0059 to speak to a patient service representative to find the option that best suits your needs.
Tired of the 1-800 numbers advertising Medicare products? Flatlands Jessup has 6 offices all throughout eastern North Carolina. You get face-to-face help from our local award-winning licensed team. Stop by today. Flatlands Jessup, your whole world covered.
We're back to the show.
Okay, team, let's get back to work. Break's over.
This is Hoist the Colors with Stephen Igo on 94.3 The Game.
All right, welcome in. Hoist the Colors on a Friday. Bobby Howard's in studio. We got William behind the glass producing, filling in for Philip Pilkington, intern Chris also hanging out. I do want to talk some MLB, but a couple things first. Shout out ECU softball. The Pirates are headed to the AAC tournament semifinals. They'll take on host USF today, scheduled for a 3:30 first pitch. On the other side of the bracket, you have North Texas and top-seeded FAU. The Pirates took 1 game from USF in the regular season. They actually played them really tight that entire series, so this should be a good matchup today. Taylor Apple with a complete game yesterday as ECU defeated Charlotte 4-3. Had some good performances. Once again, Emma Jackson reaching base 3 times. Anna Sawyer, D.H. Conley product, hit a home run. So Shane Winkler's club moving on to the semifinals and also overcame the worst call I perhaps have ever seen in the history of sports. I know I tried to get a replay. ESPN Plus was being weird, but to explain it. All right. It was a 4-2 game, runners on the corners with 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th, which is the final inning in softball. Base hit to right field. Girl from Charlotte going from first to third, so obviously it was an RBI single to make it 4-3. She is going so fast, she overslides the bag and gets tagged out, which ends the game. ECU's celebrating. They go to replay, and announcer's like, well, I guess they'll look at it, but this game's over. They ruled that there was obstruction by the third baseman, which I originally tweeted was Geyer. It was actually Nichols for ECU who had gone in as a defensive replacement. And they ruled there was obstruction despite the fact she was giving the entire outside portion of the bag to the Charlotte base runner. And the Charlotte base runner, as she went across third, literally slid and grabbed the entire bag and overran it. And there was no, she wasn't trying to force her off the bag with the tag. She just tagged her as she was laying 2 feet off the bag. So they called it obstruction. And Shane Winkler immediately got tossed. and who was the head coach for ECU softball. Luckily, the next they stole second, so they had a chance to walk it off, and they popped up to end the game. The third baseman made the catch, which I thought was fitting. As I say, ball don't lie. On the broadcast, Bobby, they said the reason that they called obstruction is because as a defender, you cannot block any portion of the inside part of the bag, which I don't really understand, because I can understand if the person is trying to round the base and go home, which clearly, like, this was not that situation. She was catching the ball. She has to be on the bag to make a tag. Otherwise, you're asking her to catch the ball off the bag to make a tag. So I don't understand the rule. If that's the rule, I think it was misinterpreted, and it was a horrific call, but I'm glad ECU won.
Yeah, my understanding is you have to at least give part of the bag. You don't give
there was plenty of bag available.
The whole bag. And as a base runner, you're taught to go attack the bag, the part of the bag that the fielder is not covering. So in this instance, if she's got the inside of the bag, then you attack the outside, which it sounds like this person did. But here's my thing, and it happens in the MLB all the time. Umpires in baseball and softball are more CYA with themselves than any other sport out there. The amount of calls that go to replay because they're challenged by an MLB manager and are not overturned when they're clearly out, safe, what have you, because they CYA, and it seems like it was the same instance. I'm glad it didn't come back to haunt ECU, and they just got really a fourth out to the inning and can advance. But and kudos to Coach Winkler for going all out in that scenario too, but really sticking up for his team and really what is a crucial situation, and you hate getting tossed. But I
think he was just so I don't think he could believe it. So and the other thing that ticked me off was the umpire had an extremely quick you're out of here. I'm sure he didn't say anything too nice, but I'm like, you got to understand, you just cost the team that was celebrating, and Charlotte had already conceded defeat. Nobody actually thought it was going to be overturned, so it was just an emotional moment. Just really disappointing, but hey, it's the American. This is what the American does. They make horrific calls. Yeah. So tune in 3:30. I'm hoping that they continue to win. I just want to get Shane Winkler in, not only to celebrate a hopeful championship, but to ask about that call and what he said. But Shane's the man, so congrats to them. All right.
But I got to add one more piece. That also shows the umpire, in a way, knew he made a bad call and is super sensitive about it.
Just an immediate toss.
Yeah.
It was disappointing. All right, ladies, get the win, though. I do want to touch on as well before we get MLB, this Bill Belichick thing. Are you following this, Bobby?
I've tried not to just because I hate all this extra media drama.
I didn't want to bring it up, too, but we at least have to talk about it.
And here's the thing. The video from Pablo Torres that came out today that essentially said he's heard that Jordan Hudson is banned from the football facilities and families concerned about his legacy being tarnished, got disbanded pretty quick. I mean, UNC has already since come out with a statement, which is really not surprising because they're going to do everything they can in their power to back Bill Belichick at this point in time. The whole situation is very odd. The whole CBS interview, very odd, that happened a few weeks ago. I tried, like I said, I try not to, when I'm scrolling social media, I try to go through it pretty quick so the algorithm doesn't pick up that I sat and read that tweet, so more of that crap
the algorithm.
Dude, the algorithms are nuts. Taking those data science classes, the algorithms are insane. But anyways.
I just don't, I guess the truth is somewhere in the middle. You had Pablo Torre, who I think is a really good reporter, show host. He said that there was a Belichick family source that said there is deep worry for how detrimental Jordan can be for not just North Carolina, but Bill's legacy, reputation, everything he has built and worked for over decades. And then, North Carolina came out. I don't know if I can find the exact
But I think that's
quote.
True. That from a family member is probably 100% true. Family members are concerned. I think if you look at her track record of dating older men, significantly older men, I mean, I'm 34. You're what, 33?
Yes.
We're 10 years older than she is, and she's dating Bill Belichick. It's just very odd.
It's crazy. It's just insane. And all right, so UNC came out with a statement basically saying that she is allowed. Here's the statement. All right, while Jordan Hudson is not an employee at the university or Carolina Athletics, she is welcome to the Carolina football facilities. Jordan will continue to manage all activities related to Coach Belichick's personal brand outside of his responsibilities for Carolina football and the university. So this is, I kind of hate that the whole Hard Knocks thing was shut down because now this would be even more drama.
But it sounds like she's the one that shut it down, according to The
guess so.
Athletic. Yeah.
I mean, but it's just like, what is she even doing? Like, what is the point of all this is what I want to know.
Why is she still around is my question.
I just hope that, part of me hopes it goes away, but part of me hopes it just continues because it's highly entertaining. But, yeah, I've done my best to avoid talking about it on the show because it's being beat to death. But after today, it's unavoidable. So there's your Bill Belichick update. If you got a question or anything about that, we can dive deeper into it. All right, Major League Baseball. Let's first discuss. Here's the standings update if you haven't been paying attention. We're getting into May now, so like it's starting to become a little more real. Still way too early, but we can at least draw some conclusions. The Seattle Mariners are leading the AL West by 3 games. They have won 9 series consecutively, this despite Logan Gilbert and George Kirby being on the IL and also having a significant part of their outfield on the IL, so that's encouraging. The Detroit Tigers have the best record in the AL. They are 25-13. They lead the Guardians and Royals by 2.5 games. The Yankees are 21-16. The AL East has been a little underwhelming, but they lead that division. Boston's 1 game back. And Bobby Harvard's Baltimore Orioles are the worst team in the AL outside of the Chicago White Sox. How does that make you feel?
I have been so distraught the last few weeks. I've having to talk myself off the ledge almost every outing. And, I mean, yesterday was not even on the pitching. They just got swept by the Twins yesterday. That's the other frustrating part. You could maybe, as you said, we're into May. You're starting to become who you are as a baseball team at this point, and 30, almost 40-something games into the season. And the pitching has been the story of the Orioles, but this is just a team that can't get out of their own way right now. Yesterday in Game 3, their last chance to avoid a sweep, Dean Kramer goes 7 complete innings for back-to-back 7-inning starts, which is the first time he's done that in his career. Gives up like 2 runs, I think, maybe 3. Regardless, they're tied. The Bats go 1 for 11 with runners in scoring position and can never capitalize. I mean, multiple times they looked like the Pirates early in the year. Multiple times they had runners on second and third with no outs and couldn't bring anybody home. Very, very frustrating. They go to Anaheim to play the Angels, and then they come back home to play the Twins. We'll see if they can get it together, but I'm not too optimistic.
Yeah, we were talking. I mean, it's that time of year where you can't win a division or definitely a pennant in May, but you can certainly lose it. And they're kind of reaching the point where if they continue to scuffle and get much further beneath 500, they're going to get buried to where it makes it almost impossible to come back from. Look through the NL. The New York Mets are leading the NL East. The Braves have picked it up since their slow start. They're near 500, 1 game under. The Phillies are in second, a game and a half behind. And then you got the Nats and the Marlins in the Central. You've got the Cubs, who are off to a good start, the Brewers. The Cardinals, Reds are together, and then you got the Pirates in last. William is a Cardinals fan. Before I ask you about Alec Burleson specifically, because the Cardinals I'm seeing have won 5 in a row, where are you at on the NL Central right now, William, from I guess a little bit of a partisan perspective because you're favoring the Cardinals, but I don't know. From an outside looking in view, I always see this division a little up for grabs every year. Does it feel that way again this year, or is it the Cubs to lose? How do you feel?
As you can see, the popular trend right now, I think it is the Cubs to lose, but this division is consistently fisticuffs. They're always battling it out, always seeing who can get the first or second. They always have a wild card spot up for grab because these teams just fight, except for the Pirates. So these teams are going to go at it hard. Right now, I think the Cubs have it to lose, but I think in 2 years from now, this will be the premier division for baseball.
That's a bold statement with the Brewers, Reds, and Pirates in the division.
Hey, Oliver Marmol from the outside looking in is extremely unimpressive. How do you feel about him as your manager?
I was very disappointed with his first 2 years. I think that he's becoming more of a player's coach this year, which has led to a little bit more success. I do feel like they need to add in an older figure into the franchise, especially in the dugout, maybe even a player of such. You can bring in Albert Pujols, who's the manager for the Dominican League. You could bring in Yadier Molina, who's the manager for the Puerto Rican team. I think somebody like that needs to have a presence, someone that has a connection with the team, is very experienced, a veteran coach at that. And while I'm not particularly happy that we picked Oliver Marmol and got rid of Mike Schilt, I think there could be an upside if he continues to be friendly with the team.
I actually like that idea because Albert Pujols was the first that came to mind, and I didn't even think of the international experience of both of those guys, so I do like that idea a lot.
So Alec Burleson has come on a little bit of a heater. I know he went over the other day, but he hit home runs in back-to-back games. The reason I really don't like Oliver Marmol is because I feel like he doesn't handle Burley well. When he has given him consistent playing time, he's been a top-of-the-order caliber bat. Now, from a analytics point of view, the one thing that Burley does not do well is he doesn't get on base at a high rate. He doesn't walk a lot, but he also doesn't strike out. So, like, the one thing I like about Burley is he consistently has good at-bats. He hits for some power. How do you feel like the Cardinals are handling Alec Burleson, and do you think at any point, William, they look to trade him? Just because it feels like they're never all in on Burleson. I don't know. Do you feel the same?
I do think that he could be good trade bait, but I wouldn't understand why we would trade Paul Goldschmidt to turn around and trade Burleson, as I think he's our best defensive first baseman. We do have a lot of players that can hit and play first, such as Wilson Contreras. When he's on, he hits for power. And then Lucan Baker, who just came from AAA this year to play, hits for big power. But neither one of those guys are just as well defensively as Burleson is. I really like how Burleson moves for his size, and that's why he was able to play in the outfield. But with the Cardinals outfield, he can't play there, so his only role on the team would be a first baseman, split time, or be DH. And there's, unfortunate for him, less athletic guys that can hit just as well for him that are in the DH role right now. I would really like to see him be utilized more, as I really enjoy how he plays for his age and how mature he is as a player. He hits well for contact. He has a low strikeout percentage, but right now the balls they're just not getting through. They're not going to holes. They're not going to gaps. And it doesn't matter how hard you hit it. If you hit it at somebody, you might get out.
You know who won't play first base?
Who's that?
Rafael Devers.
Yeah, what is going on there, man? I mean, like, I've followed it a little bit, but I guess he just only wants to hit.
Yeah.
Or play third.
I've heard, too, there's some issues with maybe the translator and how that was kind of translated.
Blame the translator.
But I don't know. I'd love to see the Orioles trade for Alec Burleson, just from a standpoint of seeing a Pirate back on the O's team. But we're so loaded with those type of guys. It's so weird that he had such a great year last year.
Yeah.
I know it's a new manager and all, and there's different approaches, but the guy makes contact and puts the ball in play, and that's what you want. You want the defense to make plays. You force them to make plays, and just unfortunate situation. I always kind of worried that was going to be the case, him coming out here, just because of his mold. He was kind of stuck into certain positions, but he's made a name for himself with his bat, and you just hope he gets consistent opportunities.
No doubt. All right, the NL West, quick rundown there. LA Dodgers, no surprise, in first place. But I guess the biggest surprise is the Padres and the Giants are only a game behind. They're competing at two of the best winning percentages in the league thus far as we roll into mid-May. The Arizona Diamondbacks have been solid as well, 2 games above 500. Who has not been solid are the Colorado Rockies, 6-31. Poor Zach Agnos is already their best reliever. He took his first loss the other day. Now he still has a 0.00 ERA because the stupid extra innings rule came into effect where you start with a guy on second. He gave up that run and then gave up an unearned run on a drop fly ball by the outfielder. So Zach's still pitching well. Has anything else surprised you from an MLB perspective, Bobby, as we look through the first month plus of the season?
Outside of the O's sucking it up, honestly, the Mariners and the Athletics being the top of the AL West.
The A's are a fun young team, as much as I hate to say.
They are, and you hate to give any sort of credit to Fisher, the ownership there in Athletic. See, in the standings, they don't even say Sacramento Athletics or California.
It just says Athletics.
But that's probably the surprise. The Cubs are another surprise that y'all talked about earlier, and honestly, the Cardinals. I think going into the year, the Cardinals were thought of as maybe the 4th or 5th best team in that division. Obviously, they've won 5 straight. I've always enjoyed watching the Cardinals with their history. It's a cool place to watch a ball game, and I follow the Cubs just because I've mentioned before. One of our neighbors is Jed Hoyer's father, so the GM of the Cubs. So that's always kind of cool to, as he goes for walks around the neighborhood, getting to chat baseball with him because obviously he's very knowledgeable of everything. And then, dude, the NL West is just a slugfest.
It is.
I think it was last week or the week before, the Dodgers were 3rd or 4th place in the division. So that's just a slugfest of the division.
Fun division, some fun baseball early. We'll continue to talk about that all throughout the summer as really there's not too much going on, especially the Pirates don't make the ECU Pirates, not the Pittsburgh Pirates. If the ECU Pirates don't make the NCAA postseason. All right, we'll get another break in. We'll come back. We'll shift gears. The Carolina Hurricanes fell last night. That series now tied 1-1 against the Washington Capitals. We'll touch on that. NBA playoffs roll on as well. We'll touch on that as well. This is Hoist the Colors on a Friday.
Hey, it's Jim Wells again with Wells Roofing and Gutters here in the beautiful community of Lindale, Bedford. At Wells Roofing and Gutters, we believe in quality first, and that's why we use CertainTeed shingles, which are manufactured in Oxford, North Carolina, a local company. In the event you ever do have a claim or a problem with your roof system, they're local and they come and take care of us in a timely manner. We could leave off some accessories and we could certainly save money, but we believe at Wells Roofing and Gutters in installing the correct way per manufacturer requirements, and we warranty your roof both in-house and also with our supplier who is CertainTeed. For a job Wells done, no shortcuts taken, and a good quality job on your home, give us a call today, 252-227-8403. We also offer financing, 12 months, no interest, no payments.
This is about you, your family, and the health of all who live in Eastern North Carolina. This is about the transformation of a health system into something more powerful and more human, about creating new ways to treat disease and keep you well. This is about ECU Health, which is to say, it's really all about you. ECU Health. Minds, hearts, purpose.
You have a choice when you invest in insurance, and when you choose First State Insurance Advisors, you're working with people you can trust. Clark Stallings has deep ties in the community. His team, including Keaton Smith, Regina Asby, Phil Leyva, Max Joyner Jr., Max Joyner III, and Ginger Smith, provides knowledgeable and professional advice. First State Insurance Advisors is an independent insurance agency. They offer all types of personal insurance as well as various types for business. Call or email First State Insurance Advisors today. We want to be your trusted choice agency.
Other restaurants claim their food is fresh and fast, but are they friendly? At Moore's, you're treated like family the minute you walk into their doors. With locations in Winterville, New Bern, Swansboro, Morehead City, and Jacksonville. We've been practicing what we preach since 1945. At Moore's, our barbecue is slow cooked and smoked over real wood daily until it's so tender it's falling off the bone. Combined with our fresh chicken, cooked-to-order seafood, and homemade fixins, we're sure you'll agree. If it's not Moore's, it's less.
Listen up. He's talking now.
Who is this?
Stephen Igo and Hoist the Colors on 94.3 The Game.
All right, there is our rejoiner that we're still getting used to. Bobby Harward in studio, Stephen Igo here, William producing, intern Chris hanging out. Have they grown on you at all, Bobby? We debuted these rejoiners last week.
Yeah, a week ago.
And I still am not used to it.
Well, and last week we were completely caught off guard. But, I've been watching the show this week just to stay in tune with what y'all are discussing before I come in on Friday. And I've seen on most of them you're laughing still, so I can tell you're still getting used to it. Seems like Hank kind of liked them a little bit, but, it's just hard. I don't know if –
I think everything's grown on me except the ear hole. part in the Open.
Well, to me, it's not even the female voice. I'm cool with that. It's some of the verbiage that is used coming into the segments, but it is what it is. You're doing great.
We're still figuring it out.
You're on, big guy.
Yeah, that's the one that also trips me. I was waiting for that. That's this time, and it did not come. So we're here. All right, NHL, Carolina Hurricanes. I think they did what they needed to do despite last night's loss. They lose 3-1, but they stole a game on the road in D.C. So you're more of a Caniac, obviously, than I am. I know that you obviously would want to win 2-0 or win to go up 2-0 in the series, but like, can you really complain coming back 1-1 to Carolina?
Absolutely not. No. We have a group chat that I was asked going into last night's game kind of how we were feeling about the game, and I had stated in that, and I'll reiterate here, that if we won and went up 2-0 coming back to Raleigh, I'd be on cloud 9. Bottom line, though, I'm already happy that in a way we flipped the home ice advantage and stealing a game there. You get the road bugaboo off your back, give yourself some confidence that you can win on the road. And bottom line was I just wanted to see a scrappy, competitive hockey game last night, and I think that's what we got. I know the score said 3-1, really it was a 2-1 game, and then an empty netter there at the end. We did allow the Caps to get more into their game. They're a slower I say slower pace. It's hockey. It's still fast-paced, but they like to control the puck in the offensive zone, and they were able to get into their game a little bit more. But we had some shots there in the end of the third to tie it up. Couldn't quite capitalize. Again, I'm pleased with the performance. Raleigh's going to be rocking. Would love for them. We're the best home team in the NHL, but they said it on the broadcast last night. The Caps are one of, if not the best road team in the NHL. So should be a really good matchup. To me, it's going to be an awesome series. I'm even more, just hypothetically looking ahead, I'm more excited about this series than I would be about any Toronto matchup down the line. But
yeah, I was going to ask, like, does their slower style, is that part of the reason they're good on the road? Because maybe it neutralizes some of the emotion, frenetic pace that is like home hockey. Like, I feel like you just get that. You almost get teams sped up if you're the home team, and that plays to your advantage. So I guess that's kind of Carolina's goal going back home.
Yeah, they're definitely going to want to control the puck again, control the offensive zone again like they did in Game 1. And I think that's a good point. I mean, it kind of not quite the Jurassic of the four corners offense of UNC, but in a way it kind of is. They want to control the puck, take some of the mojo out of that home crowd, and control the puck in the offensive zone. So that's their strategy. They're a big physical team too. I think that also plays to their advantage and helps with their style of offensive play. But would love to see some of our goal scorers really take off in the playoffs. That's been another Achilles heel of this Canes team year in and year out, as their stars aren't stars necessarily in the playoffs. So I'd love to see them get some points in as well.
All right, the Oilers take a 2-0 series lead over the Vegas Golden Knights, and that's a bit of a surprise. Not that Edmonton's not a good team, but to go up 2-0 with a couple of road wins in that series. You also have, as you said, the Maple Leafs are 2-0 going to Florida. Stars lead the series of the Jets 1-0. So what of these other series are you monitoring thus far?
I'm curious of the Dallas-Winnipeg series just because of the Mikko Rantanen, however you pronounce his last name, drama and what happened with the Hurricanes. Love for Dallas to lose. I just don't see it happening. Winnipeg, escaped the Blues in the first round. I said it before the playoffs started. There seems to be a curse for the President Trophy winners, so the team with the most points in the regular season, and that's what the Jets were at the regular season. This Edmonton-Vegas series is really the one out west that intrigues me the most, and I'm shocked that Edmonton stole both in Vegas. And I think last night, could be incorrect, but I feel like it was 2-0 Vegas, and then Edmonton scored 4 straight goals and won. And did Vegas tie it up too? I'm trying to.
So let's see if I can pull it up here in the box score. Yeah, play-by-play.
Yeah, Vegas tied it up 4-4, and then Edmonton scored late or in overtime.
In overtime.
5-4. Yeah, that's right.
So Edmonton again 2-0 series lead in the West. That Game 3 will be Saturday at 6 o'clock for the Hurricanes Game 3 on Saturday. Do you think the Canes win the series now with them having home ice?
I'm still hesitant to say that. I think Washington's too good. I definitely see this series going 7 now. I could see a split in Raleigh, which wouldn't be ideal for the Hurricanes, but I could see that Washington stealing one just like we did up in D.C.
All right, there's your NHL update. I believe we had a comment from Cameron. Let's see. He says, bold prediction. He says we come out on fire tomorrow and win game 1, then get absolutely blown out the next 2 games. Cameron, you talking about ECU baseball? Game 1 is tonight. Unless you're talking about something else.
Unless it got postponed and we didn't even see it.
I have not. I just checked. I saw his comment. As far as I know, the game is still on for tonight.
Maybe just a mistype, but I mean,
it would shock me. I mean, it'd be kind of similar to the Coastal Carolina series,
and
if that happens.
Be exactly what we kind of need from Norby in an electric appearance tonight.
I have the Pirates winning the series. Don't know why. I think they come out ready to roll. So there's my take on it. But yeah, he says he means tonight. So I thought so. Appreciate it, Cameron, as always, for tuning in. Let's get a break in. We'll come back. We will close the show with some NBA playoff talk and final thoughts. Otherwise, get a shout out to Sup Dogs for supporting the program today. Check them out, downtown Greenville and Crush Vodka. They support ECU Athletics, and you need to support them in return. This is Hoist the Colors on a Friday. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm D.R. Alligood.
And I'm his daughter, Jessica.
For 11 years, we have built quality driveways and parking lots for both your residential and commercial needs. We also offer free on-site quotes to have your custom driveways built the way you want.
252-946-1227.
Your roof is a vital part of protecting your home and family from dangerous storms and hurricanes. At Assist Roofing, we install and maintain metal roofing that provides precise protection. Add value to your home while lowering utility costs with a fortified roof to last a lifetime. With 0% financing, grants, and Energy Star Green Roofing tax credit available. Call us to schedule a free consultation so you can weather any storm with confidence.
Make every day electric on the Kawasaki Electro 20 electric balance bike. Maximize the fun with long run times, impressive top speed, and Kawasaki build quality. Easy adjustability and smooth handling make everyday riding more enjoyable. And the standard MTB type tires provide off-pavement capability. The Kawasaki Electro 20 is the electric balance bike that's built to rip. Go to Ron Ayers Motorsports, Memorial Drive north of the airport, Greenville.
Your confidence makes everything look good. You see the world in vivid color, not black and white. Swing through your neighborhood Fantastic Sam's cut in color. And let our experienced stylists take you from everyday to extraordinary.
Fantastic Sam's hair salons are locally owned and operated. Our full-service salons are conveniently located in Goldsboro, Kinston, Greenville, New Bern, Jacksonville, and Calabash. Stop in today at Fantastic Sam's, where the possibilities are endless.
If you are interested in living longer and living stronger, Eastern Physical and Lifestyle Medicine is accepting new patients for a limited time. Finding a caring physician can be a challenge. Dr. Billy Smith is board certified in physical medicine and lifestyle medicine and has been practicing in the area for many years. Call for an appointment now to Eastern Physical and Lifestyle Medicine, 252-364-1108 in Greenville. That number again is 252-364-1108.
Looking for a great deal on a new Nissan?
At Greenville Nissan, we've got a great selection of new Nissans for under $30,000.
The stylish Nissan Sentra, offering top-notch fuel economy. The Nissan Altima, known for its comfort and technology.
The Nissan Kicks, the perfect combination with its compact design and performance. The Nissan Versa, delivering incredible value without compromising on features. And don't forget the Nissan Rogue, an award winner for 10 years in a row. Drive it home just for $22 down and $349 a month.
Visit GreenvilleNissan.com today.
Greenville Nissan, where we drive to serve.
Hi, I'm D.R. Alligood.
And I'm his daughter, Jessica.
For 11 years, we have built quality driveways and parking lots for both your residential and commercial needs. We also offer free on-site quotes to have your custom driveways built the way you want.
252-946-1227.
Back to Hoist the Colors with Stephen Igo.
Let's get this party started.
On 94.3 The Game. You're on, big guy.
There it is. We're on, big guy. We're back, Hoist the Colors. Final segment here. Bobby Harvard hanging out. We got William producing. We got intern Chris hanging out as well. Philip's out celebrating his sister's graduation, so congrats to the Pilkingtons. All right, guys, final segment. We've talked a little bit of everything. ECU. We've talked MLB. NHL playoffs. Let's talk some NBA. And we're into the second round of the NBA playoffs. To give you guys an update if you're not following, the Timberwolves last night beat the Steph Curry-less Golden State Warriors 117-93 to even the series at a game apiece. I'm going to be honest. This is I've been deep into the NBA playoffs because of the Nuggets, and I've explained on the show a lot, but I'm just more into the NBA this year. I've been staying up late to watch these games. Last night I had no desire to stay up because I knew the Timberwolves were going to roll them. And we've kind of reached the point, too. The Thunder the other night, I was able to go to sleep. They beat the crap out of the Nuggets 149-106. Just an absolute demolition as they even the series at 1-1. The Knicks-Celtics has been insane. The Knicks have erased 2 20-point deficits to win 2 games in Boston. And then you got the Pacers, who have a 2-0 lead on top-seeded Cleveland. I know William has been engaged with these NBA playoffs. We'll start with Bobby. What has caught your attention thus far?
I'm shocked that Boston is down 2-0 heading to New York.
What's more shocking, that or the Cavs being down 2-0?
I'm with Phil. I think the Cavs are kind of always – they had such a hot start that really helps lock them into the first seed. But to me, I looked at Boston as the team to beat out of the East. Yeah. And for them to be not just down 2-0, but in the manner that they're down 2-0, blowing back-to-back 20-plus point leads, and then the game-winning shot or whatever the other night, dude, if New York goes up 3-0, the city of New York is just going to be intolerable for the next 3 or 4 days until the next game 4.
Until they blow a 3-0 lead.
Yeah, I mean it's insane. I could care less about the Pacers and Cavaliers also, so that's the other part of it. I know you said you were not surprised that Minnesota blew out Golden State. I kind of expected that to happen, but I had gotten a notification that Anthony Edwards had gotten hurt in Game 2.
Oh, really?
And I was like, oh, crap, he's out. Then Golden State has a chance, especially without Steph. But then he came back in and just took over. But I enjoy watching him play. The Thunder are really fun. I know you're a Nuggets guy, but I enjoy watching the Thunder play.
They're fun and energetic, that's for sure. What about you, William? What has caught your attention through these NBA playoffs?
Overall, I like the games. They're competitive. Not many of them have been blowouts besides the Nuggets game, but there has been a good competitive sense to all of them. And when you think it's over, it isn't. As we saw with the Cavs and Pacers the other night, I was like, Cleveland has this in the bag. And then all of a sudden, Pacers steal it away after missing a free throw of all things. It's been very interesting. I've enjoyed watching the Timberwolves and Golden State series. I thought the game last night was still a little bit entertaining because you could just tell the difference that it makes when Curry's out there. Even if he's not scoring 30-plus points, he gives his teammates shot opportunities just by being on the court because he's such a big threat. It's just interesting to see how the Warriors played when he was there and then how lost they looked last night playing against the T-Wolves. But overall, I think this playoffs has been really well, and I've enjoyed watching the games and how close they've been.
Yeah, it's been fun. It really has. I mean, most of these games have come down to the buzzer, which is, usually you see, honestly, a lot of, you might see a series go 6 or 7 games, but there's double-digit, point differentials in both directions leading into that, and we've seen less of that this year. Tonight, you've got Cavs at Pacers. It'll be interesting to see how the Cavs respond going on the road, being down 2-0. And then Thunder Nuggets. This is the Nuggets are just a weird team. As sad as it is to say, they're kind of used to being blown out in the playoffs, and it doesn't faze them. They got crushed by the Clippers in Game 3, responded to win the next 2 games. They got crushed by Minnesota last year and responded from that in the playoffs. So, I hate to say it, but they kind of just take games off, and I think after winning Game 7 and Game 1, they were emotionally out. I think tonight is going to be a war in Denver, 10 o'clock. I think if Denver wins this game, they're still in a good spot. They lose, I could see them honestly just losing the next 2. So I don't know. I don't know if you'll stay up for it, Bobby, but if you can, I think it'll be a good one.
I probably won't be able to stay up for it if I do make it that long. The O's are in Anaheim, so I'll have that on the television. My question to you, looking at the ticket prices here, because it has it on ESPN, why is it only $81 to get into the game in Denver? I mean, their series is tied 1-1.
They're saving their money for the finals.
I guess that's it. But I think it goes back to Oklahoma City 2-2. Or do they do the 2-3-2 in the NBA?
It is 2-2-1-1-1.
Okay, it is. Okay, so yeah, they're going to go back to OKC 2-2.
I think so too. And honestly, going into the series, I would have said if you get it deep into the series with the Nuggets experience, I think if the pressure continues to build on the Thunder, that just favors the Nuggets. But the problem for Denver is they got to hang in the game. You can't be falling behind 20 points in the first quarter because the Thunder are just too good and too deep. So we'll see, though. I still feel like at home, Jokic is going to get a better whistle. The Thunder are just fouling the crap out of him in their building right now and getting away with a lot. But they're really good, too, and we'll see what happens. I don't know. I'm still intrigued by these NBA playoffs, regardless of which way it goes for the Thunder and the Nuggets. I think the Timberwolves, even though they were the 6th seed in the playoffs, I think they're one of the best teams in the NBA when they're clicking on all cylinders. So I wouldn't be shocked if they make it to the finals, but it is what it is. Anything else?
My question to you is, how are you going to get away with watching the game on Mother's Day? Because that's 3:30 in the middle of the day.
That is a problem. I do have to work the ECU game that afternoon, so I'm doing breakfast with the wife and then dinner with the wife. So in between, I may just act like I'm writing post game for ECU baseball and just stay in the press box watching the Nuggets game. Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question, but that'll be a challenge. I am trying to get the kids away for a little bit on Sunday, so she has some time to herself as well. So, but yeah, happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there, and congrats to all the graduates as well. Well, we're out of time. William, appreciate you filling in today, man. You did a good job.
Yeah, no problem. I've enjoyed it.
Absolutely. We'll have you back, I'm sure, down the line. Bobby, appreciate you as always, man. Enjoy the weekend with the family. If you don't have dinner reservations anywhere, I suggest you stay in your house if you're listening. But it's going to be crazy in Greenville. Appreciate everybody for tuning in all week long. Enjoy the baseball as well. We'll be back Monday, 12 noon. See you then.
This has been Hoist the Colors with your host, Stephen Igo. Tune in weekdays at noon for all things ECU sports. Get a recap of the show at 943thegame.com, on Twitter, Facebook, or anywhere you get your podcasts. We're back Monday with more of Hoist the Colors on 94.3 The Game.